Hey YouTube, Kira Qualia here, bringing you all my Dark Irregular standard deck profile for post-Violus Deleter. Wanted to do an update to this deck. Big thanks to my friend Anthony for letting me borrow his Dark Irregulars. He was actually completing it around the release of the booster pack, finally collected up all the cards he wanted for the deck. I think it was a pretty easy deck to build. None of the cards were really too expensive. I think the two most expensive decks in the Violus Deleter set was already covered, the Deleters and the Shadow Paladins. Pale Moon, Murakumo, sorry about that, and Dark Irregulars are all pretty easy to update with all the new support. The whole point of the Dark Irregulars being a protect deck, very defensive with their new plays, especially with the King of Masks and all their new support, just really does help to support the Soul Charge as well. So let's go ahead and get started with the deck profile. So to start off, for the grade 3s, I run 4 King of Masks, Tsundere. When you would call a Guardian, you can call a grade 2 or greater cards from your soul. You can call any number of cards to the Guardian Circle. So you have very good defense with this card. As long as your soul is built up, just remember when you use them for the guards, they will get sent to the drop zone after that. So you do use up a good amount of your soul if you don't want to rely on your hand for guarding, if you want to save them for upcoming plays as well. And when your opponent's rear guard is retired during your turn, you may soul charge 2. And also, when a grade 2 or greater is put into your soul by a card ability, 3 of your rear guards get plus 5,000 until end of turn. So all together, this card is a definite setup card. Power-wise, being able to use the soul defensively and just being able to take care of the opponent's rear guards, and then also gain the soul charge power. King of Masks, like I said, sets up your other grade 3s. It was a definite needed card for the Dark Irregular deck in total. I like that they didn't really give it any grade 3 in soul abilities, basically because it would be very easy to set up your soul with this card, instead just focusing on setting up for your other grade 3, which we run in the deck, which is No Life King, Death Anchor. One of your more offensive cards for it. When placed, you soul charge 1, and this unit gets plus 2,000 to end of turn for each card in your soul. And at the end of the battle that it attacked, if you have 13 or more cards in your soul, you counterblast 1 and put a card from your hand and 3 rear guards into your soul. Ride a card from your soul as stand, and this unit gets an extra critical until end of turn. So if you ride from King of Masks, Tsundere, you have just that extra build up in defense from the cards you put into your soul to end up guarding with, so that combo is off really well. Or just being able to go into another No Life King. You have both those options available to you depending on what cards are in your soul as well, so remember that when using this card. But I would say King of Masks definitely does set up for your soul better than the No Life King, only having a 1 soul blast and then needing the already 13 cards in your soul along with his own put into soul. So setting those up, biggest thing, if you know you're going to go for the No Life King play, is just to remember not to invest too much with guarding with cards from your soul with Tsundere, just because they'll be eaten up very quickly, and then you just won't be able to reach those numbers because you would have gone through all your cards so far for your uses. And was going back and forth between using Demonator or the new Demon Duke of Death, Baal. This is the new grade 3 from the Violus Deleter set. It has Imaginary Gift Protect, just like No Life King and King of Masks. With it, on Vanguard or on Rearguard or Guardian, when placed, if your soul has 5 or more cards, this unit gets plus 5 power and plus 5 shield till end of turn. And when it attacks on rear, you can counterblast 1, put 1 other grade 2 or greater rear guard into your soul, choose one of your opponent's rear guards, and retire it. So you have retire power with this, which works together with King of Masks. And also just the power on the guard circle, depending on your soul, can also come in handy for sure. Just like that rear guard option, since No Life King and King of Masks both rely on just having the Vanguard circle for their abilities. Demon Duke does have that protect marker if you do have to ride this card, but other than that, it's just a good call to rear guard unit to use. And that's it for the grade 3s. Moving on to the grade 2s. I run 4 Flirtatious, Succubus, another new card from the Violus Deleter booster pack. At the end of the battle that it attacked a Vanguard, you put this unit into your soul, choose one of your opponent's rear guards, and retire it. So just good soul buildup and being able to retire your opponent's units as well. And from the soul, you can counterblast 1, discard a card from your hand, and return this card to your hand. So then you can recall it back out and then just do the whole step again. I like it for the soul buildup, also just for the fact that you'll always have that unit to go into. The biggest complaint I would say about this card is the fact that it is an 8k grade 2, but as long as you have the boost power with some of your other grade 1s to give it more strength to attack, it's not that big of a concern overall for your grade 2s. For the other grade 2s, I run 3 werewolf seager. For Vanguard or Rear, during your turn, if you have 5 or more cards in your soul, it gets plus 5,000. And when it attacks a Vanguard, you can soul charge 2. Both, the first one is a Vanguard or Rear Guard ability. The second one is a Vanguard only. If it was Rear Guard, it would be too insane. But the plus 5,000 means you can hit a good amount of numbers on Vanguard or Rear. Hitting the 14k number for sure means that you can, hit a Force Vanguard, 13k from Rear, but early game as well. If your opponent's Vanguard is on that 10k power, you want to make sure you can hit if Seager is on your Vanguard without having to rely on calling a unit early game as well. Also running 3 Dark Soul Conductor. On the guard circle when placed, if you have a total of 10 or more cards in your soul and damage zone, you may have this card get plus 10,000 shield until end of that battle. If you do, when this unit would be retired during that battle, you put it on the bottom of your deck instead. So just a reusable grade 2 for guarding. If you all remember, Dark Soul Conductor's original ability was a soul charge 2 when used for guard. I definitely do like this one better. It's a step up for the 10k shield along with its original 5k shield as a grade 2. Just having bigger numbers than being able to reuse it by putting on the bottom of the deck just means less deck out risk as well with that one additional card, which you're always kind of down to the wire with your deck with this clan specifically. So just being able to keep those numbers going when you open up Dark Soul Conductors definitely does come in handy. And lastly, for the grade 2s, I run 3 Blood Sacrifice Ruthven. From Rear, when placed, put the top up to 1 card from your damage zone or drop zone into the soul. If you put from your damage zone, or put the top card of your deck face down into your damage zone. If you put a Rukalakis into your soul, you countercharge 1. Now, this was just an option for soul buildup for the final grade 2 spot. I don't run Rukalakis in the deck currently, but if you wanted to put in some numbers to work with it, I would say I'll show you what cards you can take out to use instead, but I just like it more for that damage to soul put up. Depending on what card is in your soul, it can be definitely beneficial just to get it into your soul to reuse with cards like No Life King for sure. If you get too many in the damage zone and not enough in your soul for the grade 3s for his skill, that could be very problematic, and Ruthven definitely does help with that. And then for the grade 1s, I run 4 Dimension Creeper. One of the new grade 1s, definite one that helps out with the deck a lot. If your soul has a grade 3, this unit gets plus 5,000. And from your soul, you counterblast 1, put this card on the bottom of your deck, and you may soul charge 3. This is your main grade 1 for your soul setup, just being able to soul charge 3 for an easy counterblast and then putting this card back into your deck. It basically is an homage to the old Dimension Creeper, soul blasting it for soul charging, but just in a better way, because then you can obviously redraw into the Dimension Creepers to reuse them again. But definite 4 of the card's way too good in the deck. And then for more field power boosting, I run 4 Doreen the Thruster. When your card is put into your soul, due to the ability of your card, this unit gets plus 5,000 to end of turn, 10,000 if you soul charge 2. Vanguard or Rear, depending when you do this, you can hit some big numbers with Doreen the Thruster, and then just overall, if she attacks by herself, hit some strong numbers, or even if she just boosts, back to when I was talking about Flirtatious Succubus with its 8k power, having Doreen the Thruster just be your go-to card to boost your units means you can hit for some pretty big numbers, even though the deck otherwise doesn't have too many power boosts, since most of the time Dimension Creeper will be used for its soul charge from the soul, and then you'll also need to rely on Rear for your last grade 1, which is Alluring Succubus. I have a lower grade 1 count just through the fact that most of the time with all the soul charging, your hand consistency can be a little off, so you want to have more grade 2s to rely on rear guard to attack. But for the last two Alluring Succubus, you counterblast 1, put this unit into your soul, look at 7 cards from the top of your deck, reveal up to 2 grade 3s from among them, put one of them into your hand and one into the soul, and shuffle your deck. So this card just sets up more and more of your cards, like I said, and also searches out grade 3s very vital. If you wanted to bump up the number of Alluring Succubus, you can move around the numbers of Dark Soul Conductor and Ruthven, maybe drop each of them by 1 and add in 2 more of her. And if you don't want to run Alluring Succubus and put in Irregulars as well, you can change around the seager and the Conductor numbers to add in with these, and then the 4 of Irregulars, since it works well with Ruthven and you'd want to keep these numbers up. And lastly, for the grade 0s, your starter, which is Vermilion Gatekeeper, standard for all standard decks, no pun intended there. The sold one wrote upon, draw a card. And then for the trigger lineup, being the Protect deck, I decided to stick with the 8 criticals, so 4 Blitzritzer and 4 Werelux Algelfreeter for the 8 critical. And then for the draw trigger, 4 March Hare of Nightmareland, the Perfect Guard as well as being the draw trigger. And lastly, 4 Curse Doctor, just the standard heal for the deck as well. But like I said, the 8 critical with no Life King and its pressure is way too good to go for. But that is it for the deck profile. I hope you all enjoyed the video. Until next time, please don't forget to leave a like and subscribe. And Kira Qualia out.